Very good. Thank you.
I was going to change the topic of my talk, and then Spirit said, no, don't do that. Because you don't want to be talking about the idiots so in the White House. And excuse my language, but you know I'm not his fan. And but here's the thing. Everything is a lesson for us. Here's what I've learned about having such a person in my country as president. And I may have said this before, but I'm saying it again. What I've learned is that democracy is very delicate. And in a democracy, we are responsible as voters to know what we are voting for. You just don't go to the polling and check off the ballot, according to your political party. You don't do that. You know what you are checking off. You know who you are voting to represent you in your country and in your province and your cities. So never take democracy for granted, ever, ever, ever. So let me recover. So what I'm talking about today is actually each of us. Each of us, we have our own challenges, and it's for us to grow into consciousness, into higher consciousness. And that's why we're here at Unity. And hopefully any church at all is about growing into higher consciousness. And so we look at everything that's happening in our lives as lessons, if you will, or blessings. And I once learned a word that describes that, and that's blessings. So a combination of lessons and blessings. And so today I'm going to be talking about facing our fears. You facing your fear, me facing my fears. And until we come to a place of faith that God is in charge of our lives and even our countries, until we know that, we can't be in what's being called as our ascension into fifth dimensional consciousness. And that's where we're headed right now. So today we're going to tackle our own fears and hopefully do a little exercise that will help you come into greater faith that God is in charge and getting out of egoic fear. So I'm going to start with a story, a cute little story, okay? 4 abandoned kittens in a parking lot near a dumpster were chowing down on a paper napkin that was probably saturated with hamburger or chicken grease. Somebody had discarded it. And as if their lives weren't miserable enough, a monster was about to scoop down on them. But ever wary, those kittens saw it coming. And as the monster reached down to grab them, they scattered in all directions. The monster, however, was persistent and chased after them. He managed to scoop up 2 of the kittens. The other 2 successfully hid away, and so the monster gave up pursuing them. The other 2 were the 2 nabbed kittens, an orange one and a black and white one. They began to cry loudly and persistently in terror, but their cries were futile. The kittens eventually found themselves in a new environment, and set before them were two bowls, one filled with water and the other with tuna fish. The monster sat at a distance watching the kittens. They were so ravenous that in spite of their fear, they approached that bowl of food. The orange kitty ate hungrily, but the black and white kitty, oh, it was very cautious, and it kept its eye on the monster. And if the monster stirred, it scooted away until it saw that the monster was once again still, and then it went back to eat. Twice every day, the food was presented with the same scenario, but the only difference, the monster would inch closer every time, until that monster one day was so close, it could reach down, and while they were eating, it pet their little heads. Well, black and white kitten, it out there like grease lightning, but Orange Kitty liked that and crawled right into the monster's lap and started purring, and the monster scratched its little ears, rubbed its little chin, and Orange Kitty was in heaven. Well, it was soon after that the kittens found themselves in yet another environment. Now, Orange Kitty found it to be kitty heaven, but black and white kitty found it to be kitty hell. You see, the new environment was full of more monsters. Now, Orange Kitty enjoyed the monsters because they picked him up and caressed his soft fur, and they dangled string for him to chase, and they gave him bits of food when he mewed. Black and white kitty stayed hidden under a piece of furniture. It was afraid of dangling string. It was, and it only, the food it ate was what Orange Kitty left behind. So this is actually a true story. My son was the monster who found the kittens. And these two kittens are actually my role models. Because in my approach to life, I've got to ask myself, am I right now being more like black and white kitty or orange kitty? Am I a scaredy cat, giving in to fear and allowing my life to be limited? Or am I like Orange Kitty, full of curiosity, willing to explore the scary place? Black and white kitty couldn't see beyond its woe and was constantly crying, "Oh, woe is me," but not in English. Orange Kitty was scared at first too, but was willing to face its fear. And lo, it found its benefactor. In a letter to Timothy, the Apostle Paul wrote, "For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And I want you to repeat that with me. And you say, I. God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, of love. I don't hear you. And of a sound mind. I want you to know that God has given each of you a spirit of what? Power. And love, and strong mind. Yes.
Strong mind.
Yes. Thank you. And yet, fear seems to be such a natural part of our everyday lives at the human level, doesn't it? There's always something to be scared of. It is only when we stay centered in our faith that God is our protector that we do not succumb to fear. But consider this. How often do you put your faith in something of the world? Think about that. What makes you feel secure? What makes you feel secure? Is it your house? Is it your relationship? Does someone take care of you? Is that it? Your relationship? Is it your finances? Is it your health? What is it that gives you a sense of security? The thing is, the world is not it is not the realm of our safety. Do you all know that? Nothing in this world gives us true security. I mean, think about it. There are people who feel secure in their homes, and yet their home may not really be secure. There's tornadoes, floods, fires. I mean, we hope that doesn't happen to us, right? But it is a possibility. So, safety in this world is an illusion. The illusion is that what is familiar to us makes us feel safe, even when we may not really be safe. So the 4 kittens' new home as a parking lot near a dumpster, and dinner was a paper napkin with chicken grease on it. Not very life-sustaining, right? The environment wasn't safe, and yet they were so afraid of being taken away from what they knew was familiar. When actually where they were plopped down was where they were safe, in the scary place. So if you were to lose anything that you feel is your security, if it was to be taken away from you, would you panic? Some of us have already had experiences with our health. Some of us anticipate the possibility. I myself, with the current regime in my country, who want to take away my Medicare, I depend on my Medicare for my health. I mean, other than how I take care of myself with nutritious food and such, but if I have to go to the doctor, I depend on my Medicare to pay for my doctor visit and my hospital visits. And if they take away my Social Security, guess what? That's a bit of a chunk of my monthly income. And so that's a concern for me and other Americans as well. So what about you? What of yours that makes you feel secure could be threatened? So I am in total faith. I cannot live my life in fear. I am in total faith. So let's look at things that are like the kittens. They were plopped down or even like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, plopped down into the unfamiliar. How do you find the good in that situation? So let's talk a bit about cancer, which is ubiquitous these days, is it not? I have a friend. I have several friends who were challenged by cancer. One friend, when she found out, she and her family prayed for a miracle. And her doctor said, "You're not going to live. This type of cancer, you're not going to live." Now, here's what happened when she got that news. Her prayer changed. Her prayer changed from, "Please give me a miracle," to, "Let me have peace and faith in what I'm to do with the rest of my life." And here was her miracle. Her relationship with her estranged daughter was healed. And suddenly, things that she took for granted, she had great appreciation for. That sunrise, that sunset. And she told me, if only I had never taken any of this for granted, but was in gratitude every day, my life would have been so different. So she was plopped down in a very scary situation, and yet came to realize that there was a higher good for her. Another friend of mine developed cancer, and he had a different experience. He changed his diet. He stopped drinking beer. He stopped eating meat. I mean, he totally changed. And he did everything he could to be healed from cancer. He asked his doctor, "I don't want to do chemo. I'd rather, not stay than to do that." And the doctor said, "Okay, we'll monitor you very closely as you choose not to have the chemo treatments." 2 years, and he found himself declared healed. But he was proactive, and for him, it worked. But that doesn't work for everybody. My husband died of cancer. It's not what is presented to you, but what you do with what is presented to you. So my husband, he developed a sense of humor. He was agnostic, didn't believe in God unless it was proven to him. I was never able to do that. So, but he was willing to be put on prayer lists and do a variety of things. The Tibetan monks came for a visit to Salt Lake City, and sure enough, he was willing to go with me. He'd never done that before. But what I loved was that he took every day and he found something to be amused about. One day he was driving home. The windows were down. And when he got home, he looked in the mirror and found that he was bald. He went back to the car and looked in the back seat. The wind had blown out his hair. And there he was. He laughed. That's what he did. He laughed. So it's what we do with our lives. And we're all going to leave this place, every single one of us. What are you going to do with your life while you are here? You're going to live vibrantly? War. There's always been war, hasn't there? I remember when my son went to the Persian Gulf, I was terrified. All of us knew someone, if not us, as a woman, I'm fortunate that I haven't had to go to war, but I've had loved ones go to war, and I'm sure every single one of us have. War seems to be ubiquitous too. But what can we do about it? The only thing we can do is look at our own consciousness, lift up into higher states of consciousness. And as we do that, I've said it before, and I'm not the only one. So teachers in this age of Aquarius, if you will, the teaching is that we affect everyone around us, and we even affect beyond us, like dominoes, like pebbles thrown into the water, ripples out, ripples out, ripples out. If we are of high frequency consciousness, we affect the world in a positive way. We all get to do that. So this is leading towards a meditation where we're going to look at facing our fears. This is a story called Running Toward the Roar, R-O-A-R, roar, and it's attributed to Levi Lusko. And he says, when lions go hunting, they are very clever. All the younger strong lions gather downwind from the herd of, say, the wildebeest or the antelope. And in this way, the wildebeest do not pick up the scent of the lions. Now, the old worn out lions whose teeth are almost gone and who cannot run fast enough to catch prey, they go upwind, where their scent and roar will frighten the wildebeest. And those who are frightened by the roar, they run away toward the young lions who are about to capture a meal. Now, if the wildebeest were to run toward the roar, they would be safe, wouldn't they? They would just run towards those old incapacitated lions. So in the book, When Things Fall Apart by Pema, I believe, Chodron, tells the story of Trungpa Rinpoche, a well-known contemporary Buddhist teacher. This is the story. When a child asked Trungpa Rinpoche if he ever had fear, he said that his teacher had told him to always face his fears. The big test came when one day he and his attendants they arrived at a monastery where they had never been before. As they passed the gate, a huge, snarling guard dog began to bark ferociously at them with bared teeth and spittle flying. It strained mightily against its chain, and as the monks entered the gate, suddenly that chain gave way, and that dog came rushing at them. The attendants froze in fear and screamed. Rinpoche began running toward the dog. The dog was so startled that it put its tail between its legs and hastily retreated. So I invite you now, we're going to have a guided meditation where you are going to face a fear. You ready for that? But you're going to come away knowing your power, knowing your love, and knowing your strong mind. So have in mind a fear. And if you wish, imagine that fear in the form of a huge, snarling, ferociously barking dog. Anything you want, but just a suggestion. So do you want to run away? Do you freeze, not knowing what to do? Do you look for a big stick? So close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Take another deep breath. So there it is, a ferocious fear. And you do stand still. You do stand fearless. And you say, God within me, you are my protection. God within me, you are my security. I am in this situation to discover that you are my power. I am in this situation to discover that you are my power. You, God, within me, you are my spirit of power, of love, of a sound mind. And with this knowing, I may run toward the roar. Now, as you stand before that dog, as its chain breaks, it is running at you. And what do? You run toward the roar, and you see that fearsome situation turn, tail between its legs, running away from you. With a faith so big, a courage so big, God in you so big, a knowing of this truth so big. You may relax and exhale. A peace that passes your human understanding allows you to breathe deeply in and out. Breathe deeply in and out. And declare, I am safe. I am safe. In God, I am safe. And you may even want to purr. So now, knowing that God is your security, come back to this space. Feel the chair supporting you. Feel your feet on the ground firmly. You are grounded. Your hands in your lap. When you are ready, open your eyes and give thanks that God indwells you and takes care of you in every way. And so it is. I notice that some are still feeling that safety. We are now going to do our offering blessing. And I want to remind you that there is a basket in the back of this room for people who want to leave their offering in that basket. I also know that people make their offerings in different ways, in service, maybe with money to help us pay the expenses of having this church available to us. And of course, we are so grateful for being in service and for all the many ways in which we are blessed. So let us say this together, our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I joyously give, and all that I joyously receive. And we dedicate the gifts to the activity of spirit here at Unity Center of Montreal, and we are grateful. Thank you. Okay, so announcements. So this Wednesday at our class, we did not finish our discussion with the various lines of the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. We had quite the discussion. I thought it was great. And it was so good that we didn't have time to finish. So we will finish. And I think we left off at where there is darkness, I sow light, or I like to say, I am light. So that's where we will take that up again. And Dr. Maya, do we have another announcement? Oh, I will say so. After church today, the activities team and I are getting together. This is the day we are putting together some activities that everybody will be invited to attend. There should be quite a variety during the summer months here. So we're looking forward to that. And hopefully we can have as much participation as what moves you. Dr. Maya, am I forgetting something? You're on mute. So
The noon meditation, the daily sacred time. So you might want to say something about.
I'm so pleased to see such good attendance at the daily noon meditation. And you know what is really special? That several of you lead the meditation, and it's always beautiful, always such a pleasure to partake in that. A mere 15 minutes to be centered in the divine. A great way to have it in your day. Is that everything?
Well, I can only say that the board, yes, we do have a board with William and Sandra elected people on the board, myself on the board, and Reverend James is a non-voting member of the board. He has agreed to be an advisory. But anyway, we are having a board meeting next Sunday after the service. So if you have anything, like any questions or anything, you can send it and we'll put it into our agenda. And then about 1 or 2 weeks later, we're going to have a town hall meeting with everybody who has any interest or questions where we are and where we're going. So we're going to have a town hall meeting with everybody welcome, member, non-member, visitors. So we'll let you know that's all going to be on a Sunday. But first, we're going to have a board meeting and get business taken care of. So that's about it from my end. I know we're still in the energy of the solar solstice, the summer solstice, and I just invite all of you to continue to pick up the special vibrations that are stirring and moving, and they can be felt in the body, they can be felt in your emotional self, but they are outpourings from the angelic dimensions, from the fifth dimension, doing these openings, and this is one of the big ones. So just when you walk around and you have some strange sensations, or you think, oh my, what's going on with me? Just say, I'm open and receptive. The energies are outpoured. Today, yesterday, and today. So that's it. Thank you, Reverend Sandi.
Yeah. Yes. And after we do our circle for healing and our circle for the prayer of protection, just to invite you to hang around a little bit more. We get to know each other more, chat, and I can take this iPod with me, or iPad. And if anybody wants to continue to hang out on Zoom, and I will hold it. So now let's go ahead and do our circle for individual healing. And I love how Dr. Maya leads that that prayer. So shall we circle up here?
So those of us who are on Zoom, I'm going to ask you to be virtual beings, beings of light, outside of time and space. We are holding hands, us here. I see Sandra and Wilma and Catherine and Marjorie and Anna and Pauline, and I'm holding hands with you. And there is a group who is holding hands now in the sanctuary. And for this, we stand as beings of light. We have been inspired, we have been uplifted, we have been taken to another dimension in ourselves. Beings of light, holding hands, amplifying the field among us. This is a mighty, powerful, living waters. That whole teaching of Jesus. And so, with that in mind, with that reality, with that willingness for each one of us to serve this circle, anybody who would like to be in the center of just touching, of just being enfolded in this light, for whatever reason, just put up your hand, or those in the sanctuary, if somebody wants to step into the circle, let me know that you have done so. I'm assuming nobody in the circle in the center. I'm not hearing anybody speaking. Anna, we would like to put you into the circle. Remember, there's absolutely nothing that you need to do or you need to change. Just allow. Anna, you are in a circle of healing light. And this healing light is pulsating. And it's expanding out. And it's contracting and then expanding. And it knows there is this absolute wisdom in this light that knows what you have need of on the human level, on the spiritual level, and on your soul level's highest good. From the very top to the bottom of your feet, to every cell of your body, to every level of your being. The light touches you, uplifts you, aligns you with that which is your soul's highest good. And so we are grateful. Amen. And I would like to take Reverend Rosemary into our circle. We all know her. We all have been blessed by her. And for a moment, Rosemary, we call you. We call your name. We have you in the center of our circle. And the moment I saw Rosemary stepping into that center, the light just started to pulsate strong and beautiful and vibrant. And she's in the midst of it. The light knows what you have need of at this moment. The light gives you in its abundance and overflowing love, that which is your highest good, your soul's highest call. And so it is. So I thank you for being angels, for being beings of light. And as we are, I think it's okay now to take our prayer for protection together. Maybe Reverend Sandi will lead us.
The light of God surrounds
God
us.
surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us.
The
Power
power
of God protects us, and of God watches over us.
wherever we
God,
God
God is,
all
and
is
all is well. And Wilma, will you give us your final blessing, please?
Good morning to all. And as Reverend Sandi spoke, what came to me was the first two sentences of Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom or of what shall I be afraid? And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Wilma. Thank you for your blessing.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Maya?
Thank you all. Namaste. I'll take the iPad out with me.
Maya?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I will send you my availabilities for going to the bank.
Thank you. I appreciate that very,
I
very
have
much.
to, by tomorrow, I will know more about the week and when I
Can you
can
stay on when
Right.
I am?
be myself.
You can leave. Yeah.
Thank you
And
very
then we
much.
can see with Amanda
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and
I
give
think
her
that's-
my availability. We can use it together.
I wrote an email including Reverend Sandy. I
Yes.
just talked to Amanda. We're all just coordinating. And we wait for you to let us know when you are available. Okay?
I will do that.
Reverend,
You don't need to hold it. We'll just put it on the table.
Thank you,
Reverend
Reverend.
Sandy. Thank you, everyone. Reverend Sandy, can I be
And
heard?
you can stay with us. Look, she's taking the iPad with her to the little social gathering in the lobby. So you can still be with us. Come on.
I have to go myself, but next Sunday I'll be there.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
But I'll send you my my days.
Yes, I understand.
Sandra.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice
Sending
day.
you love,
Bye-bye.
Sandra.
Bye-bye.
Sam,
Sending you love.
Donna, everyone in the sanctuary. A bientôt.
Maybe
You too.
So,
Yes.
Susan, can I be heard, okay?
Hello, how are you?
Very good, you.
Reverend, Susan?
Yes.
Okay, great. Could you pass on a quick message to Reverend Sandy that I'm going to email her?
Right here. She just
Oh,
tell her.
okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. Hi,
That's
Reverend
it.
Sandy.
Hi.
Thank you so much for this morning's
Great.
sharing. And I'm going to email you right now the bulletin I mentioned that lists activities. I haven't done it yet, but since you're going to be meeting, I just wanted to let you know.
I will look for it, yes.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I have your email, but could you give it to me, or which email could I send it to?
Well, you can send it to the,
Yes.
you can send it to the, wait, do I get the church email?
Yes, unity of Montreal@gmail.com, and she can get it. Yeah.
And is Montreal spelled out? It's not MTL, but MONTREAL?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unityofmontreal@gmail.com. Thank you for
That's right.
that.
Thank you for the info that you'll be sharing with us.
Don't mention it. It's my pleasure.
Okay, awesome. Okay, well,
See you on Wednesday, Anna.
I don't know where everybody went. I think they went.
See you on Wednesday.
Yes.
Are you taking the class with Reverend Sandy?
Is that a question for me, Dr. Maya?
Anna.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
That's great, because that's really where you have some of that really wonderful contact with her. I think that's great that you can, even if it's, zooming in, even you don't have to come to
Oh
the
yeah, I mean, I joined on Friday, and we had such a hoot afterwards. Some of us had real drums, and I brought, well, I could show you what I brought. I brought this with a lid, and that was my drum. And we did some drumming and
Yeah,
dancing
yeah,
after.
yeah.
Yeah, it was impromptu, spontaneous. Well, it was, yeah, impromptu, and reminded me of when Kate had her, I guess it was karaoke and dancing in the
That's
sanctuary.
right. That's right. That's right. In the sanctuary with strobe lights. Yeah. Right. And you met, and Claire
I think dancing is for me definitely an avenue or a way of connecting with the divine within me and with others.
Yeah. I'm glad you feel that way, because in Reverend Sandy, you got a real committed dancing person who likes.
Yes, we have a definite Californian amongst us.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Now she's losing.
A self-identified hippie.
Yeah. That's right. Now we are losing Reverend Sandy. I don't know where the others are.
I had to greet someone and hi Donna. Let me give you a hug.
I'm going to mute and stop my video, but I'm still partaking. Thank you.
Yeah.
Love to all.
Okay, Letitia. Hello
Hello.
there.
Hello.
How is the garden? How is the garden?
It's beautiful. The marigolds are starting to pop up.
Right, that's good.
We'll have some flowers.
Keep me in the loop of what kind of activities you agree on. Okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay, okay, love.
Bye.
I the others are already somewhere else, so
Yeah, everybody's jumped into doing stuff, so
you see what I mean, right, Reverend Sandy? It's not
yeah.
easy.
yeah,
to keep
nah,
people-
it's so anyway, plus, I want to hug people and I can't hug you guys, but
I know, but Reverend Sandy, you saw my email. We're getting. Did you get the $300?
yes,
Good.
this morning.
And yeah, and we're gonna go. We have to go to get 2 signators.
Yes.
You know all that, and you will.
Yes.
Yeah. No, this is not easy. You get a whiff of how everybody goes off doing their thing, and to
Yeah.
keep. You see how it was.
It's not a successful way to do this, actually.
But but Anna was really needing this little contact. That was wonderful to have a little, just a bit with you, and talking about Friday night, how it was wonderful, and I still believe in our social necessity. But anyway, more about all that another time.
Yes.
The social aspect. I'm gonna
Socializing.
chime in. The social aspect, whether in person or on screen, that's what helps create community. So
It does. This is awkward, though, I will say. Because I like to give everybody a hug, and I haven't been able to do that because I'm carrying this around. But anyway, we'll figure it out somehow. And I wanted to speak to William before he leaves too, so. Okay, are you done with the plans? I gotta go. I'm gonna put you down. I don't know where to put you.
Because it was a bit of a mess, so I was trying to clear something.
Oh, I was wondering who that belonged to.
You want to
Oh.
hear me? I do something wrong.
So not a problem.
Okay,
I don't.
thank goodness. All right, so, okay.
Yes,
Anna, are you still there?
you got the thing, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
recuperate them.
I
Hello.
already did. Sorry.
Anna, it's Maya.
I am.
Are you- So you have made your move, I'm assuming, right? To your new place where you're living?
Yeah.
No.
Is it working?
I was ready to hold hands.
You can anyway.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I have to use tomorrow, and I'm gonna tell,
Is it working out for you?
I'm gonna tell them.
It is. It is.
Okay.
I'm finding it like so many things, maybe everything. It's definitely a process.
Yes, of course, absolutely.
And little by little, it's a transition. It's a transition from one to another, what was and what is. And it's funny. Yesterday, in my mind's eye or whatnot, I was kind of walking through the old place because it has quite a bit of personal and family significance, and remembering it has wood floors, and remembering where the floors would creak and whatnot.
Right.
And just the feeling of the place. And I'll share this. And Sandra is a part of this story. She had a friend, Luke, who needed to find some homes. Speaking of cats, as Reverend Sandi was mentioning in her talk this morning, so Luke needed to find a home for his daughter's cat. The daughter happened to be Australian, and Luke was moving in with his partner who was very allergic. And so Gandhi was up for adoption, and Gandhi came along at just such a sweet and really ideal moment. And I saw his photo and I said, oh, this cat is for me. And I went and met him, and sure enough, so Gandhi came to live with me in the old space, and he would do this faithfully. There's the front entrance, small front hallway entrance, which would connect the sort of front room that fronted on Sherbrooke and then the back area of the flat. And in that front entrance, when he would pass through either from the back towards Sherbrooke or Sherbrooke towards the back, he would look up in the corner, right hand corner of the hallway.
Yeah.
He would do this
Yeah.
faithfully, as if seeing something which I couldn't see. And I'm convinced it was the spirit of my grandmother who lived there for many, many years. It was her first adult space to live on her own after her divorce. And she had married an alcoholic, which is quite common for someone who had a parent as an alcoholic, as she did. And this space, I'm sure, was a sanctuary for her. And she used to be able to walk to and from work, which was the McCord Museum. She retired as curator emeritus of the McCord Museum of Canadian History. And I could tell you more about that story some other time if you're interested. But this space, I'm sure, was a sanctuary for her. And I believe friends were her books were her best friends. And she had
Yeah.
these floor to ceiling bookshelves, just about to the ceiling, put in by a friend and colleague from the museum, and they were loaded with her books. And I can imagine that this space was probably quite a healing space for her in a number of ways, as it has been for me and for my siblings. And it remains in the family, get me right. It's not as if, but it seems.
The apartment stays in the family?
Yeah, the apartment, because my uncle, her second born, her son, he inherited the place, and his primary address is Toronto. But I think, what life and my loving higher power could be showing to me is that my time with that space for now, who knows if it, nothing is forever, but my time with that space or being that space is has transitioned, and
Right.
and I think it also is somewhat symbolic and indicative as I move forward in my own healing.
That's right. That's right.
Because I'm
wonderful.
I'm the child, the grandchild, and the great grandchild of alcoholics. The family disease of alcoholism and dysfunction. And I remember, I can't say exactly when, but I remember when I said for myself, and I may have said it out loud at the time, the new family dynasty begins with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm quite committed to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember once coming across one of my grandmother kept diaries. She liked to write. She published 3 books. I mean, if you're a book person, I'm sure she took refuge in books as a child and throughout her life. but I remember reading in one of her diaries, journals, her observations of me before I was pre-verbal.
Yeah.
And it was really heartwarming to be witnessed. And she said,
Yes, yes.
she said, because as you maybe, can be aware, however you may be aware, that there's quite a lot of chaos and dysfunction which comes with alcoholism and whatnot. But in this reading of what, and she kept different diaries, but she wrote, I'm so glad I came across it and read it. She said, words to the effect of, she has such determination.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a spirit God has given me.
Right. And that girl, that little girl or that young woman, if you pictures of her, Anna, put them up on your mantle. Just maybe a picture of that girl that was not yet burdened too much with the drama of the collective, but the girl.
I actually, in morning meditations in this week, I've actually started to meditate with my inner child with images from photos.
Good.
And I am the loving parent in my meditation.
That's right.
And I'm holding myself at whatever the age is. And I'm going to continue with it.
Good. Good talking to you, Anna. This was perfect.
And you. Thank you.
Have a good Sunday.
And you. Thank you.
I tell you, it's so hot where I am. I'm gonna go into we have a pool in the back. I'm gonna go in there.
Wonderful. Oh, I've got a pool in my new building and a couple of saunas.
Ooh.
So I've moved up in the world, Dr. Maya.
That's good. Okay, Anna. Okay. Bye. Love you.
I'm gonna do something wonderfully mundane and take my laundry from the washing machine and put it in the dryer and take the dog out.
Okay. Okay. That's
And
good
I
too.
got a barbecue to go to. So enjoy your pool, enjoy your floating and soaking in the pool.
Enjoy your furry animal, your furry dog.
Yeah, he's definitely a gift.
Bye.